desert, almost back to where we started. The 5 clay hex is touching the 2-to-1 brick port. So that's a tour quickly of the harbors, and of course that 2-to-1 ore hex sitting on the 5 ore hex might be giving some players pause. But again, so the hexes are pretty well spread out. You've got an opportunity to get in a couple of 3-to-1s without too much difficulty, and that 2-to-1 ore hex may be giving again some players a thought of whether or not you should get a settlement up there on one of those close on. So, and again, right now, players are still. Reiner has chosen to go first. He wants his first placement. He sees something on his board that he would like to jump on to quickly. So that's our first bit of news and our first movement on the game itself. So, and he's willing to go 8th as well to get his second placement. He's happy enough with the board. He sees that it's open enough for him that he is willing to take the bet from what he believes is the best spot on the board, and then go ahead and let all of his opponents place all of their settlements to start, and him go 8th as well. So throughout the afternoon, we'll try and sneak over maybe to the shadow board, take a listen in on some of the armchair strategy going on by, of course, the spectators, and in this case, by spectators, of course, we mean the other national champions that are here that have played in earlier rounds of the tournament. It's always interesting to see how other players of their caliber are perceiving the board and the play of the players on the board. Again, Reiner Biela, first seed in the tournament and first seed this afternoon in the finals round, had the choice of whether he wanted to go first, second, third, or fourth. So this replaces the die roll at the beginning of the game. So rather than roll dice to see who will go first, Reiner, due to his seating placement, gets to choose whether he wants to be first, second, or third, or fourth. In his case, he wants the first placement. He has chosen to go first. Herbert, who had the second choice, is going to select his first settlement in the 3rd position. So 3rd and 6th for him. Right. So next up will be G.Y. Chan. He actually goes by Joe. And Joe has selected the 2nd position, which of course leaves Justinas in 4th. So we have our turn order now determined. So playing first on the board will be Reiner Biela. Playing second will be Joe Chan. 3rd will be Herbert Chager. And 4th will be Justinas Nuri. Yeah. Buildings are underway, so we have our first settlement on the board. And its accompanying road. Reiner now gets to sit down and watch everyone else make their placements. Once everybody else has placed 2 settlements accompanying them, Reiner will place his. We're seeing G.Y. Chan, who goes by Joe. He has the white pieces and is deciding on where to place his first settlement in the road to accompany him. So while the initial settlements are getting set up, let's talk for a moment about the process by which they have gotten here. So on Saturday, all of the contestants, the 42 players from 27 countries, played 4 games. On each of those games, we actually standardized the starting positions by letting everyone play first, play second, play third, and play fourth over the course of those 4 games. So during those 4 games, they were ranked by 3 criteria. The most important one being the number of wins. How many times did you beat the other players? The second criteria was points. The third was the percentage of points earned in your game. So if you won your game with 10 points and your opponents had 3, that's considered a better quality of win than if you had 10 points and all your opponents had 9. Now, coming out of that tournament round, Reiner Bilo was our #1 seed, who was the only player to have 3 wins under his belt moving forward into the semifinals of the tournament.
Not to mention that, of course, he won his semifinal today.
Yes.
So, of the 5 games that he has played, he has won 4 of those 5.
4 of those 5 against, again, national champions, every one of them. Herbert Chager was the very top of the 2-player winners. So, as I recall, it was 2 wins and 37 points, which means he came in second twice, and came in first twice. So again, he is 3 for 5 in his games, and a very strong second places in the 2 games that he lost. Chihuai was also very high up on the 2-win scale. Justinus is our dark horse. He was 14th seed coming in, and he was, I believe, the highest rank of the 1-player winners that we had come in.
If I remember correctly, I believe he had no wins going into the 4th round of the qualifiers. Won his qualifying game, his 4th round qualifying game, and had enough quality showings in his other 3 games to vault him into the top 16. And then, earlier today, won his semifinal to advance to the finals.
So, everyone that you're looking at is either been dominating in their games or have been on a hot streak through the last few games. In either event, of course, all of these players started the tournament as national champions. So we expect a very high level of play from all of them this afternoon. Again, Reiner who is playing first on the board, is playing the orange pieces. Herbert is playing the blue pieces and is playing third. Chihuai, and we'll probably alternate with Chihuai and Joe, but right. Only because we've gotten very good at saying Chihuai over the last
just when I got it down.
But, just when we learned that. But he'll be playing second, and Justinus is playing red and is placing 4th. Playing 4th in the tournament.
And Justinus is currently examining the board. He does get 2 settlement placements at this time. Everybody else has played 1. Because the settlement placements are in serpentine fashion. We go 1 to 4, and then we go 4 back to 1.
So as the contestants continue to decide where their first placements are going to be, we have an opportunity to talk a little bit about all of the festivities that we've been engaging in here over the course of the weekend for the Catan World Championships. It's not all fun and games. It's all fun, but just not all games. So on Friday was our opening ceremony where we had a very nice dinner. We were also able to enjoy the magical stylings of Michael Mirth, who is a professional magician and also happens to be a game store owner. And so he was able to come in and put on a great performance for us. The Fiddlers of Catan were the second act on the bill, and they have their unique blend of Americana music and klezmer was definitely a very appreciated addition to our dinner proceedings. So, of course, many of our contestants were good and decided to get a good night's rest before the tournament play started in the morning. But we were happy that everyone was able to join us at least for a little while and see Michael Mirth and enjoy the fiddlers and meet a few of the contestants in a social setting before they have to come into a room and try to figure out who they're going to play the robber on. So, and that's the best part of a tournament like this, is the opportunity to have the social interaction on top of just the play and the gameplay. So, actually, one of the questions that came up here, you'll note that, of course, we showed you the shadow board that's on the Catan table that we have, and of course the big board. Before this game began, we approached each of the 4 contestants, and we told them that of course this big board existed, and each player was given the option of whether they wanted to play on the big board or the small board. And if any one player had said that they would prefer to play on the small board, we'd have played the final round on the small board, and Bill and I would currently be kneeled down on the big board, doing all of our commentary from the giant island of Catan. As it turned out, all 4 contestants decided that they wanted to play on the big board. This was their choice, and it was a unanimous choice. So certainly we understand the appeal and fun of playing on that. We have a feeling that this carpet board that you see here is going to get a little bit of a workout at many other shows in the future, so other players can have the same experience that our Catan finalists are. But for the moment, just realize that all of the players that are playing on this board now, all of the finalists, decided that this was the board that they wanted to play on, that they wanted to play on the giant board. And so the smaller board that is now our shadow board, it's a chance for the other spectators, the other contestants who didn't qualify for the finals, are all gathered around that board, and basically they're doing their odds making and their kibitzing as far as what players are doing and how that's going to work.
The crowd is actually all abuzz here right now. The reason why is that Justinas has just placed both of his settlements in both of his roads, and he has pretty much committed himself to this game because he played one settlement on an 8, 5, and 11, and he placed his other settlement on an 8, 5, and 11.
Wow, so 3 numbers, double production. So either it's going to be feast or famine for him, but again, depending on the mix of resources that he's getting off that, and of course we can always stare in at that board and take a look and see what those resources are. But still, you ideally like to be on 6 numbers normally, because that spreads out your distribution and your rolls. Going on 3 means you're either going to get a lot of stuff or you're not going to get a lot of stuff at all. So we're now flipped this thing back around. So now we're having Chiwai is picking his second settlement location. So Justinas and Herbert have gone ahead and done that. As we finish up the final selection of placements here, we'd like to remind you that you can follow all of our chatter on Twitter by using #CWC for the Catan Worldwide Championship. Again, #CWC will get you all of the tweets.
Joe is still deciding where to place his second settlement and road.
All right, so here we are once again trying to get our final placements here on the board. We have probably 40 or 50 people total hanging out here for the finals here in the conference room at the historic Normandy Farms.
And it's pretty much standing room only right now. Joe has decided on his second settlement. So that brings us back to Reiner.
So of course, when for the finals round, we're definitely doing a lot of double duty. We have Miranda Darnell, who's going to be right on top of the action, keeping track of things and maintaining order on the data side and on the large screen. Chris Bradley, who is ably assisting her this afternoon, is going to be keeping order on the shadow board. The shadow board is provided because a number of